In the studio, we are joined by Mr. Yusuf Mustafa as well as Mr. Shamir Adam. Gentlemen, welcome to Peli FM yet again.
Very vibrant youth, I must say you are.
Thank you so much, sir. So, for someone who's going to be hearing your special program today for the first time, what can we expect on the show?
Well, as we have been extensively advertising for the past few weeks, this is a special Ramadan broadcast show whereby we highlight what Islam is all about, particularly when it comes to this period, Ramadan, the period of observing our fast. And also, in the month of fasting, that is the month of Ramadan, we've got a special day, that is today, the International Al-Quds Day. That is a day where we show solidarity with the oppressed people of Palestine.
Yes, so many things, Selumhuri, you are going to learn today. So, do me a favor, when I just sit back, relax, bo people ndo, wulela volume hanyane nyana mo 95.0 and soak up, take in all this information elungoro tshwaretse yona. Sir, you can take over.
Thank you. And to all our listeners, particularly in Lodium and surrounding areas, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and blessings of God be upon you all. And to my special guest today, or rather our special guest today is Shamir Adam. Assalamu alaikum, Shamir.
Wa alaikum salam to all the listeners out there and to you as well.
For the benefit of our listeners out there, Shamir Adam is a community-based worker at the Institute for Islamic Services with over a decade experience in the field of community work. He is currently doing his master's degree in community mental health sciences with focused discipline in human rights advocacy, also concentrating on community intervention and strategic leadership. Shamir, it's a heavy CV that you've got here. Give us an idea exactly what does your qualifications entail.
Okay, so just basically speaking, without taking too much time, the course teaches us community interventions and any issue that might stem from the community or might be affecting the community, whether it be human rights, whether it be linked to poverty, discrimination, food, etc., etc. So we are trained to intervene in the community, lead the community out of their problems, and assist the community in regards to their human rights, the basic human rights, and the way forward.
And I see also part of your specialty or part of your specialization is human rights advocacy. Now, this is what we are going to be concentrating mainly on today because it is International Al-Quds Day. Can we just inform the listeners out there what is International Al-Quds Day?
So to the listeners out there, the International Al-Quds Day is where we as the world, not only South Africa, but especially South Africa, we as the world come together in solidarity with the people of Palestine, with the oppressed people of Palestine. Now, as South Africans especially, we know our past and what we have been through, and we know how we have overcome it. And we know about the support that we have received from outside of the borders of South Africa. And those people were in solidarity with us many years ago, and they have played a part in helping us liberate ourselves from an oppression. And this is the exact same thing with regards to Palestine, that we hope to help them liberate themselves from the oppression that is currently taking place in that particular region.
I see the international spotlight is focused on the brutalities of the Israeli or Zionist Israelis on the defenseless Palestinians. This actually is reminds me of what Nelson Mandela said, that the freedom of the Palestinians is an obligation, or to observe or to attain freedom of Palestine is an obligation for all of us. And in his famous saying, Nelson Mandela said, South Africa will never be truly free until the people of Palestine are free as well.
Yes, that is a very remarkable statement. It's a very deep statement that the late great Nelson Mandela had mentioned. And yes, we are linked to Palestine. In fact, wherever there are oppression of human beings being carried out within the world, we as South Africa should be at the forefront because we know firsthand what it was to go through the previous apartheid regime, and we still feel the effects of apartheid up until today. Whether we believe it or not, the effects are there right up until now, and much research proves this. So there is no dispute about that. So as South Africans, we should be at the forefront. That is why at the start of the program, I say especially as South Africans, we should be the first ones in line to hold solidarity with those people who are oppressed in that region, and particularly today we talk about Palestine.
We see also, besides Nelson Mandela, we see other world icons like the late Desmond Tutu, who actually broke down in tears when he visited the occupied lands of Palestine and saw the brutalities that were meted out at the defenseless Palestinians. And we see a lot of world icons and millions of people gathering today in observation of the International Al-Quds Day. Now, one of the methods that we are encouraged to observe is what Naledi, or Honorable Minister of International Relations, Ma'am Naledi or Nadia Pando, where she said that the world is shocked at the double standards of the United Nations in dealing with the issue of occupied Palestine. Do you want to just briefly mention exactly the concerns of our Honorable Minister of International Relations?
Look, the Honorable Minister, she knows very well about what is happening. She is exposed to firsthand to what is going on, not only in Palestine but in the world, and particularly in Palestine. And obviously, she is outraged at the degree of oppression within the borders of, or in the region of Palestine. So by all means, she should be outraged to a high level. Yes. Just coming back quickly, you did mention some icons of the world and their solidarity with Palestine. Now, what's important for our listeners out there to know is that these icons as well know this, that before we can be Muslims, or before we can be Christians or Jews or Hindus, etc., before all of that, we are first and foremost human beings. And that is why we have human rights. So before all of this religious talk or ethnic talks, we are first and foremost human beings. And this is what all of these leaders, these world leaders who are in solidarity with Palestine, this is what they realize, and this is what they know, that we must all first be human beings. And if we look at the situation now that's happening in Palestine, it's a throwback, especially for the Honorable Minister Naledi. And it's a throwback which brings back memories of the apartheid regime, where you see now that in Palestine it is same as the apartheid regime as before, where they stop you and ask you for your identification, like how we used to have in South Africa, the Dom Pass as they called it. And then the curfews, many curfews around the city or the regions of Palestine, same as in South Africa. And then you got the group areas, supervision and restrictions. And we know all about this with regards to the Masjid Al-Aqsa and those places around there. And obviously the discrimination on race and color, it happens. It's happening all the time. And a more pressing issue is the land appropriation that was meted out or carried out by those oppressors in that region. So yes, Naledi, the Honorable Minister Naledi Pandor has all the right and to express her views with regards to the situation. She has been there, she has seen it, and obviously it is traumatizing because you're coming from a past with this exact same issues, and you're going to a future which is going to have that exact same problems. It is traumatizing, and it is a big issue and a big problem in the world today.
I see Naledi only, she didn't only say this in words. She advised the whole country, that is South Africa, to downgrade the Israeli, or rather the South African embassy in Israel, from an embassy to a mere liaison office, downgrading a diplomatic relationship between the two countries. Now that's a very drastic action to take, a very bold action to take for South Africa. Now, do you think this is a way to go, not only for South Africa, but for the world at large?
Yes, this is one of the good ways to go about dealing with the situation, bringing peace or restoring peace in a region. This is a diplomatic way to do things, right? Because obviously she is the head of diplomacy in South Africa, which she should be, of course. Yes, I feel this is a good way, because there have been people who have called for arms. And do we want to go back to an arms struggle? Do we want to pick up weapons? Do people want to pick up weapons? I think not. I think the way she's going about it is a way that there is less loss of lives, because already in the region, every single day, there are loss of lives. Do we need more loss of lives? The answer is no. We do not need this. And I think this is a very diplomatic way, and it is a good way to go about the situation, to find a solution to the situation, and a very a less violent way to do so. So I think it is a good way to deal with this.
We are going to be taking a break now. After the break, we are going to be looking, Shamir, at some of the methods that we can use on an individual basis. Like, as an individual, what should we do to show solidarity with the oppressed people of Palestine, besides now diplomatic downgrading of the relationship between the two countries? As individuals, what do we do?
One of the IIS daily projects through Zakat, Lillah and Sadaqah for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as was taught to us by our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Institute for Islamic Services is Section 18A certified. Jazakallah for your much needed support of all the IIS daily projects. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.